Okay, so when people start learning French, what I can see with my students is it depends on the person, of course, but still I can see the main difficulties. First one will be the pronunciation, because I think the French sounds are very different from English and Spanish or any other language. We have many vowels, on, un, o, so 13 vowels actually, just 5 in English. And so it's difficult for the students to hear the difference between the sounds, to produce the sounds, and then to know how to read French, because the spelling and pronunciation is not the same. So pronunciation is really one big difficulty from the beginning. Second one will be the grammar and conjugation. Uh, French grammar is very complex, I think especially if you learn French before. Yeah, so subjunctive, conditionnel, all the tenses are difficult, the preposition are difficult, masculine and feminine is very complex at first when you start learning. And the third one will be writing in French, um, because spelling, like I say, is very different. Some sounds we can write like 5 different ways. We have the accent. So I would say these 3 points are the main obstacles. But again, it depends of each learners. Everybody is different. So, but that's what I could see from most of my students.
And for you, which part of the language are often the most challenging?
The most challenging, grammar, I would say, really, grammar and conjugation together. Yeah, it's still, even for French people, it's difficult sometimes.
Do you think age can be a difficulty to learning French?
I don't think so, actually. As long as you have like the proper method of learning, and if you really put efforts and time, I think you can learn at any age. I have like some students, they are retired, they have 60 years old, I think, and they are learning perfectly well. They can speak, very well. So yeah, I don't think is a problem for me, according to me.
And can you share an experience or a concrete example of from your experience with your student age or difficulty about grammar or conjugation?
Yeah, I have so many. I need to think. So many examples about grammar. But again, it depends, yeah, where people are from. Um, but like when you're still learning French right away, you need to learn the present tense, le présent. And it's actually the most difficult tense in French. So right away, you start with this, and you have so many verbs, so many irregular verbs to learn. So it's difficult. But still, if you really take the time, put the efforts into it, I think you can overcome. But you start right away. Oh, okay, the grammar is so difficult, pronunciation is so difficult. So you may be a little, no motivation, but you need to overcome this, I think.
I have a question about fluency. How long does it take to become fluent in French?
So actually, it's difficult to say what is fluent, but let's say to reach an intermediate level and to be able to have a, let's say, normal conversation. So it's like B1 level. It depends again on the people, but I would say between 2 to 5 years. But again, it really depends. Huh? It depends what you are doing. Are you taking lessons? Are you living in France or in a French speaking environment? Do you have a French boyfriend or girlfriend, wife, husband? Can play a big role. Are you watching movies? Are you listening to music? So many factors. And also, what is important is mother tongue. So let's say you are from Spanish, Portuguese, or Italian country. It's much more faster to learn. That's what I could see. Like for example, I had one student from Argentina, so Spanish speaker, and she could reach B2 level, so it's up intermediate in 1 year only. That's not normal, but like for Spanish speakers, usually it's faster, and some other people can take can be 9 years. It depends again, but between 2 to 5, I would say.
D'accord. And what about people who have a job, for example, or not a lot of time to study? How can they make progress?
Not having time is a little an excuse. You can always find the time, if you are really motivated. So I would say motivation is really important. You need to know why you are learning French. Maybe you have to because you need a visa or something like this. Maybe because you just like French, you want to find a job in France. You really need to be clear with why you are learning French, and then to be willing to put efforts, time, and maybe money into it. So it's not enough like to just download Duolingo or ChatGPT. I don't think it's enough. So I still think it's better from the beginning to be clear and to start seriously to take lessons or to do it with a proper method.
And about starting, you talk about beginning. How can someone start learning a new language like French?
The best way is to take lessons, to find a teacher or to go to some Alliance Française or any French school. They are all over the world, you know. So in any country, you can find a French school. It will still be the best, especially for beginners, because I see many students actually, they try to learn by themselves, maybe for 1 year, and then they kind of lost and they cannot speak. So they come to me for lessons. And then you need to go back to the beginning because they didn't like memorize anything they didn't understand and they didn't speak. So I really advise to start taking lessons and speak from the beginning also. Just writing, just grammar is not enough if you really want to live in France, I mean.
It's a question that I often see. What do A1, A2, B1, and C1 mean?
Yeah, it can be confusing for some people. This is what we call levels, actually. So they are here to help us, learners, teachers, companies, prefecture, anybody actually, to know where you are in your learning process. So are you a beginner? Are you more advanced? Because beginner doesn't really mean anything. So this A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 are actually very precise. For each level, you have criteria, what you can do, what you cannot yet do, about grammar, about listening, reading, writing, everything, interaction also. So it helps us to for teachers to do the curriculum, actually, to prepare the material, to know to put the student together in a group because we know they have the same basics. They know this. They need to learn this, and then it helps, for example, the prefecture to know. Okay, you're able to make this. You can have a conversation. You can ask questions. You can do that. So it's really to help us.
And for example, how can I know if I'm E1 or B2?
Yeah, I didn't mention actually, but so A0 will be the total beginner. Okay, A1 is beginner, A2 is upper beginner, B1 will be intermediate, B2 is end of the intermediate, C1 is advanced, C2 is native. So just like this, it's difficult to know yourself how you are, where you are. So the best is to take a test. You can do it with a teacher, with a school, the one I mentioned just now. I do test also if you need. But what I don't advise to do is to go on some website and to like a French test, because what they will test will be the listening, grammar maybe, and reading. But they cannot test your speaking and your writing because nobody is checking. It's just automatic, result you will get. And what is important is you can be, for example, A1 for writing and B1 for speaking. Actually, you may be not all the same in each skill. So only a teacher actually can determine your exact level.
D'accord, parfait. So I take the occasion to make a brief summary about level to move to France in 2025 or in 2026. What you have to know is that to obtain your long stay visa, so more than 3 months, no one will ask you to take a French test, so you can move to France without speaking a word, at least ask first. But depending on your plans, the French authority can ask for proof of your language skill, and it can be the case for a student project, for example, to ensure that you can follow your classes in French. For a visa as an employee, it depends on the job and the company. And if you want to establish after yourself permanently in France, this is where the French government want to have a minimum of level of French, for example, to renew your residency permits. For the residency card, 10 years card, the B1, it's B1 as of January 2026, and the same date, but B2 if you want to become a French citizen. when you ask for this visa residency permit, you have to prove your level of French, as Marion said. Marion, about the proving your French level, how can someone officially prove their level of French? What are the main tests and conditions?
So you have a few choices actually, but you need to take an exam or a test. Even let's say you join one French school, Alliance Française, is not enough. You really need to take the official exam or test. So for the immigration purposes, you have three choices. The DELF is actually the same. Maybe I will explain later. DELF, TCF, TCF, and TEF. So only one of these three test or exam will be allowed to prove really your level.
And what are the conditions? What is the difference between DELF, TCF, DALF? Can you explain the value, differences, and the validity of the tests?
Okay, I will start with this question also. DELF and DALF is actually the same. It's an exam. The difference is DELF is from level A1 to B2. DALF will be only C1 and C2. But it's really the same. It's the same format. You do it in the same place. It's just about the levels. So DELF and DALF, they are diploma, actually, not just tests. So diploma means it's valid for your whole life. Once you get B1, for example, it's for life. You don't need to take the test again. But TCF and TEF is only for 2 years, 2 years validity. So that's the first thing, yeah, you need to be careful about. And then the format of the exam is not the same. So for DELF and DALF, you only take one level at once. You need to choose one. So for example, you want the B1, then you take the B1. Let's say you fail the test and you have nothing. Okay. If you couldn't get the B1, you won't get anything. For the TCF, it's not the same. You take all the levels together, actually. You get A1 until C2. So let's, for example, you want to take B2, but you couldn't get B2, you will still get B1, actually, the one just below, for example. TCF, actually, you have many TCF as well. You have the normal TCF, TCF Canada, TCF Quebec, and TCF ERN. And that's the one we advise usually for citizenship and resident cards. This one, TCF ERN, will be from level A1 to B2. They already changed the format. It used to be B1, but now it's B2. So actually, it's the best one if you want to prove your level for visa purposes.
Which test do you recommend?
Again, it depends why you are taking the test. If it's just to get the resident card, for example, I would say the TCF is usually the more adapted. It's not easier, but it's less academic. And as I said just now, you will have all the levels together. So let's say you want to get B2, you will still have a question from A1, which are very basic. So this one is easier to clear all of this. And then the B2 will be maybe 10 question only. But let's say you take the DELF, it's only B2, B2. So all the questions are B2 level, so it's harder a little. And TCF is a little shorter, like the speaking, for example. And DELF, yeah, a little more academic. You need to do debate, to um, show your opinion, justify. It's much more academic, I would say. So for carte de résident, I would advise TCF. But citizenship, actually, I heard before some of my students, they apply for citizenship with a TCF, but the problem is the process took more than 2 years, and then it was too late, the TCF expired, so they have to take again. So that's why I advise maybe more and more to take the DELF because it's for life, so you will be like clear, in case the process is too long. But I think it depends on the prefecture. Some prefecture can be very long.
How long does it take to get the results for this test?
TCF, actually, you have the computer one and the paper one. Computer will be 2 weeks only, 15 days. I think paper one, maybe 3 weeks. I'm not so sure, just a little more. DELF is longer. It can take between 6 to 8 weeks just to get the result. To get the actual diploma, it may be months. It can be 6 months, actually.
And how can people get ready for this test? Do you have a learning technique or daily practice?
Yeah, actually, it's really important to prepare for the test and the exam, not just to come in French, we say hand in the pocket, main dans les poches. You need to prepare, to do some proper preparation, like you would do for any exam in school. I don't know. You need to prepare properly. So first, you need to understand what is inside the exam, what you need to do, what is expected. It's really important. You need to learn to manage time, especially for TCF, because TCF is very fast. Like for listening, you listen one time, you tick your answer, then up second one is very fast. So you need to practice for this. You cannot take your time. So time management. And then we have many strategies actually to score better, to have the more points possible. For DELF, for example, it will be for the writing. You need to learn how to write a formal letter. So you need to learn all the expression, monsieur, madame, cordialement. All of this is really important. For speaking also, you need to practice how to state your opinion, to debate with somebody. So what to do is to prepare. You can buy, there are some textbook actually to prepare for the exam, but in my opinion, it's not enough because in the textbook, you won't practice for speaking and writing. So it's still better to do it with a teacher. So the teacher will help you to check speaking and writing. So that's why actually I created some DELF and TCF preparation classes, is to help for this purpose.
D'accord.
Precisely.
You talk about time, and are there any common traps or mistake to avoid for the tests?
The time, like I say, let's say you come to the exam, but you never practice before, you will be very stressed by time for sure. For DELF or for TCF, huh? So that's why it's important to take a mock exam before. Let's say, for example, you take the DELF. DELF is for C1 level. You have 3 hours 30 of exam altogether. So it's really tiring, actually. I have some students, they told me about after 2 hours, I was so tired. And so you need to be prepared for this and to practice before to manage the time. I think is the most important. And of course, you need to have the level, the correct level, because I see many people, they tell me, I want to get B1, for example, for the studentship. Then I test them and they are A2, for example, but they will still take the exam. Well, I don't advise to do that, but I know sometimes with the time you want to hurry before January, then you need to prepare as much as possible in a short amount of time.
You say it's very important to practice your French. On how do you recommend practicing French if someone doesn't have many chance, for example, to speak with a native speakers?
I think you need to create the opportunity. So you can always find a way to practice French. Let's say you are living in the UK, you can try maybe to find French people living there. You can reach to the school, French school, Alliance Française. They always organize many events, this type of thing. You need to do your own immersion, like listening a lot, watching movies in French, podcast, video, YouTube, read blog, books, anything, but as much French as you can every day. You can try to find a partner, like a tandem, we call it, like a French learning English, for example. I have some students doing it. It's quite effective. And 2 times per week, maybe you just speak 30 minutes in English, 30 minutes in French. It's quite a good way. Or just, yeah, finding a school, like I say, a teacher is still the most effective.
Or do you have also tools, any tools to you recommend? Or
Yeah, I think it's actually quite the same, just to listen as much as possible. So there are many resources for French learners, but even anything in French, like movie with subtitle is fine as well. Podcast, blogs, you have so many choices. That's what I did actually for when I was learning English or Japanese, huh? Just to watch movie, series, anything as much as possible, really. And then I don't have any like book, textbook to advise, except one grammar textbook, but I don't think it's the most effective way to do that. And I don't really advise to do, like I said, the app, like a Duolingo, this type of thing, because you won't speak. It's just about reading mostly. And yeah, it's okay to do it, but not just learning app. You still need to combine with a speaking or with a teacher, for example.
one of my last question, or what advice would you give to someone who has just moved to France and wants to improve their French?
I mean, to be too late, but I would say to learn before you come. But okay, if you just arrive, you don't know French at all. Um, Again, start learning as soon as you can. I think in France, it's really important to speak French. People don't speak English here. And anyway, to adapt is still the best. Try to speak as soon as possible. I know it's difficult. I know people are very shy. Sometimes French people are not so nice. They're not so helpful, but still the best way would be to try to speak in the market, I don't know, neighbor, as much as you can from the beginning. Don't be worried about the accent. You will have accent anyway all your life. We all have it's the same. And if really you don't trust yourself, maybe you can study as much as you can grammar if it helps you. Any method that's the best for you to learn to be able really to speak. As, if you don't speak, you won't learn the language anyway. Go together with speaking.
So thank you very much, Marion, for sharing your
Mhm.
insights today. I also saw that you have a program to help employees or people, even if they are not fluent in English, in French, I want to say. So can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, this is a curriculum program I launched few 2 years ago, I think. It's for people actually who are already working in France or in a French company abroad, or who wants to find a job in France. So this course is more focused about professional French, business French. So basically, it's all you need in the office, like attend a meeting, make a presentation, do the machine à café talk. I mean, talk with your colleagues, this type of thing. So we really focus on all these business tasks. We don't learn all the fruits and vegetable animals because we don't need that in the office. We really focus on the situation that will arise in the office setting. So yeah, that's one of the programs I'm yeah
D'accord.
doing.
And how can people contact you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is fine. I have a website. Yeah, I think you put the link already in the invitation. Yeah, usually LinkedIn or email, website is easiest to reach out to me.